Mm.
Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to our weekly live stream. Thanks for joining. So we're just going to wait a couple more minutes, but I did include a link to download the workbook. And so if you want to click that and download that, that would be great. We will be using that, and I'm going to share my screen and start going through it. Hi, Tony. I would love to know, Tony, where are you located? So if you could please just introduce yourself. Post in the chat. Please make sure you are muted, okay? But if you could post where you are located, I would love to know. And tell me what the weather is today. I'm a huge weather nerd. Right now, it is a little bit chilly in Chicagoland. It's 62, not too bad, okay? But yeah, so we have Lisa, Right city? Sal is in Florida. I'm assuming it's very beautiful in Florida right now. San Diego, Suzanne, sunny and beautiful. Yeah, so we're supposed to have snow flurries on Tuesday for Halloween. Anyways, if you're just joining us, please make sure that you are muted. And if you scroll up, in fact, I'll just go ahead and post it again. This is going to be our workbook for today. So you do get that for attending live. Lisa, hi Joyce, how are you? I see Debbie, lots of familiar faces. So good morning, Karen. Oh, 71 in Maryland. Not bad, not bad. Tammy, I'm not sure why. Use the link that I sent you in your Facebook Messenger. You should be able to log in and then I will add you. Georgia, Florida, 83. Hi, Leanne.
Hi.
All right, so if you can just download that book. Let me just get the link out. I know a couple people are asking. All right, so Karen and Tammy, I just posted the link in the online. So just click that and I will be able to let you in. Is everyone excited for today? Game planning. So this is actually a really important one because these sellers are going through such hard times. So if you're here and you're all about the money or just taking on another deal, it's probably not the right place for you. These homeowners really, really need true experts to hold their hand throughout the process and really help them come up with a game plan, okay? So important. So that's what this particular training is going to be. So as I go through this, please post all of your questions. We're starting to get a ton of people on these weekly Zoom. So unmuting yourself and asking questions can be a lot. I will do that at the end, but if you can post your questions in the chat, we can go ahead and do that. Yeah, lots of places where it's warm. That is okay. If my husband and I had not built so much here in Chicagoland, we probably would have moved by now, but we're sort of stuck. So again, welcome to our weekly live stream. 67 in Detroit, that's good. It's 62 here, it's not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and we're gonna start with the workbook and go over determining a game plan. Okay, so if you're just joining us, please download the workbook and it's in the chat. If you don't see it, let me know, I can post the link again. So we're gonna go over 3 different things here. Why a game plan, how to go about determining a game plan, and how to really execute that game plan. So I feel like this is very, very important because again, these homeowners, they are struggling. I've had sellers on the run for murder. I've had sellers in prison for fraud or different types of situations. I've had people waiting for trial, just a ton of different information. Yeah, I can post it again. If you guys are handling these types of deals, Google is your friend, or my biggest advice is to get the app Forewarn. You want to really research these people, okay? Because if I would have known that person was on the run for murder, he murdered a real estate attorney and he's still on the run. He's actually on America's 15 most wanted list. Someday, maybe I'll tell you that story. You really want to make sure that you're dealing with someone that is not about to go to prison. So definitely do your research, okay? Because I don't want you all to get into some sort of pickle. I was very, very upset when I found out about this. So I like to really come up with a game plan. So if you're dealing with homeowners that are in a pre-foreclosure status, well, they got a little bit of time, right? Depending on your state. And so this is a great lesson for you guys to understand why a game plan is so important. If you're dealing with homeowners that have an auction, stay tuned because I already have the live streams planned for the next couple of weeks. They are going to be huge. And so if you want to learn how to market to families that have an auction, then stay tuned. Make sure you're active in our group and participating. So I posted the link. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't, please mute yourself. I'm trying to go through right now and just mute everyone. I know that's an option in Zoom and I need to go back and do that, but dang, I had to do trial jury this past Monday. Anyone have to do it before? So I really wasn't sure if I was going to be able to even make this Thursday. So it's on my list to do. Okay, why a game plan? So in today's world, I have seen firsthand, and I've said this before, all of the challenging times that these families are going through. It puts a lot of turmoil. It puts a lot of strain on their relationships. In fact, right before this call, I got a phone call from someone and they said, "Hey, Heather, I received your letter. Can you help me?" And I was like, "Sure. Do you have an auction date?" And the guy said, "Yes, it is today." And he basically put his situation underneath the rug and did not do anything with it. So it is our job as the experts in our area to really spread awareness and help these homeowners come to us earlier on in the process, right? Because the reality is like, if his auction date was today, I can't do anything. But I was able to look it up. I informed him to call his bank. He called his bank. It actually got postponed. We have no idea why. And so there's a possibility that I will be able to help him now. So anyways, families who are struggling, they really need to surround themselves with the right people and professional team. So your focus should be on them and their family and their future versus a commission and just taking on another deal. I promise it will make all the difference in the world for your business, but also the families, okay? So if you do this the right way, then it will lead to so much more business down the road. Now, I don't keep in touch with the couple that or the wife that had the husband on the run for murder. She's long gone. But if you don't have that type of situation, there is a way to go about keeping in touch with them, because remember, they're going to be forever grateful for you. And because of that, they will give you tons of business, okay? If you are just joining us, because I know there's a lot of people joining, if you go to the chat, just scroll up and down, you're going to find the link to the workbook.
Look at the fields that have the most job openings.
All right. I may have to unshare my screen at times. Okay. It is our duty as professionals to truly get to know these families. That is the number one thing. It's always interesting in this business. Yes, it is, Jesse. In fact, one of my live streams to just be crazy stories that I've dealt with. Wouldn't that be fun? Maybe I'll implement that into the new year. But we really want to understand their situation. If you're the praying type, pray with them. Listen to their story. People always ask me, what do you use for scripts? I don't use scripts. I don't believe in them when it comes to these types of situations. Why? We really, really want to understand their story. Just let them talk, okay? So the more we know about their situation, the better we're going to be able to help them. So they may just be disclosing this information for the very first time to you. A lot of people ask me, like, where do you go for these appointments? I go directly to their house. I sit with them at their kitchen table. A lot of times they're crying. They're just so thankful to have me there because I have explained the entire process. We've come up with a game plan. And I know when I go to that appointment that they're going to sign everything and we're going to get everything going. It is important for them to know they are surrounded by the right people, our team, people who truly care, who can help them move to the next chapter of their lives. It is especially important that they know everything will be okay. So there's a lot of people inside of my program that have gone through a bankruptcy, gone through a foreclosure, gone through a short sale. And so if that's the case, let them know your situation. My husband and I struggled tremendously when we started this. We weren't able to even buy ourselves groceries. We had to take a trade to go to Michigan so my mom could buy us groceries, but we knew that we could make this work if we were just consistent. And so I tell people that story. Bad things happen to good people, and it is okay. I tell them, hey, you are blessed that you were able to find my team, because if anyone is able to get it done, it is us. So everything does happen for a reason. I let them know, hey, you're in the right place. We will do everything we can to truly help you. Our main goal, obviously, is always to keep them in the home. So the guy that I just spoke to about an hour ago, he desperately wants to keep his property. I don't know if it's an option. So we're looking into those options. If he can keep it, great. If not, then he'll come to me and we'll be able to sell it, okay? But if people come to you early on in the process, a majority of them are going to say, hey, I want to try to keep the house. Okay, it may be a no right now, everyone, but it is not going to be a no forever. If they cannot get a loan mod, if they cannot bring the loan current, they may have to sell. And so you want to continue to keep in touch. Follow up is very, very important. Unfortunately, many times the family is not able to keep their home for various different reasons. If this is the case, we need to make sure they do not get foreclosed upon and kicked out, okay? That is why a game plan is so important. So if you're in an area that has a lot of foreclosures, spread awareness. Try to get in front of these people earlier on in the process, because like that guy, he called me and he thought he had an auction date today. It is actually in November, but that is still like what, 2 weeks away? So very crazy. Joyce, we can do background checks on website, I think. Yeah, so just do your research. If you guys have questions, if you're just joining, please post them in the chat and I will go back and review them. I did just reshare the link. Just download it from Google. All right, so how to go about determining a game plan. So the very first thing is I always want to listen to their story. So they may talk to you for 5 minutes. They may talk to you for an hour. Just listen to them. Take some notes, because the more you know, the better you're going to be able to help them down the road. But one of the big questions is what is your goal? What do you really want? And so like the guy today, he said he wanted to keep the home. So we're going to talk about that first. Excuse me, allergies are so bad right now. So if the goal is to keep the home, remember, it is a no right now, but it's probably not going to always be a no, okay? We want them to be able to do their due diligence, because if they do that and keep in touch with them throughout that, then when they do come to you, it's going to be a lot easier of a process. So if they want to keep the home, they have a few options. They can either bring the mortgage current. That is highly unlikely. I think out of my 17 years of doing this, one person, maybe two, were able to actually bring that loan current. So what does that mean? That means, okay, they haven't made a mortgage payment in 6 months. You know, it's already been filed with the county. There's fees for that. So they're going to have to call the bank, order, like, what do I need to bring this loan current? Okay. Not pay off the mortgage, just bring it current. And it's a lot more than what most people think. So usually that is not an option. So yeah, Jesse, I see your question. Just continue to post the questions and I will get to them towards the end. So that's option one. The next option would be a loan modification. Now, these loan modifications, here's the last couple situations that I've dealt with. I had one client that contacted me. I found her through a Facebook group in my area. And a lot of people had tagged me. So if you start to get to know people in your community, they're going to tag you. Oh, Leanne knows short sales. Karen knows short sales in her area. Okay. So she connected with me. They really don't want to keep the home, but they just want more time. And so they went through the loan modification process. Guess what? It was approved for more than what they were paying before. So that happens a lot, where the loan modification was approved for like $400 more than what they were originally paying. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to do the trial period, which is typically 3 months. And then they're probably going to come back and start the short sale. This one would 100% be a short sale. So are loan modifications in their favor sometimes, but not always. A lot of times it's going to be more. Well, if they couldn't make the mortgage payment at that lower price, and now it's higher because of interest rates, or who knows, every situation is a little bit different. So loan modification isn't always an option, but it's still good for you to go over all of this with them. So typically Tony, I can answer this question now. I do not assist with the loan modification. However, I do give them a lot of details on it, meaning, okay, if your bank's SPS, great. Let me give you the phone number so you can call them. Loan modifications can be completed by the homeowner. Do not warn them, I should say, warn them of these companies out there that will take their money and supposedly do the loan modification for them. I just did a short sale sometime this year, earlier this year. The homeowner paid $7,000 to someone to try to complete a loan modification. They took her money and did nothing. So the reality is that they can try the loan modification on their own. I encourage them to, but they have to be consistent. They have to call the banks. Hey, am I missing anything or whatnot? So Tony, to answer that last question, I don't assist them with the loan modification. I'll just guide them. I keep in touch with them throughout the process. The other option is possibly a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. We are not bankruptcy attorneys. However, I do understand how it works hand in hand with the sale of a property. So a Chapter 13 is a payment plan. So it is a possibility that they could file a Chapter 13 and make those payments, okay? I would still keep in touch with them if they do keep that option, because if they just miss one payment, then they're gonna start the process of dismissing the case, and you wanna be in front of them, okay? So again, we are not bankruptcy attorneys. I don't think there's any bankruptcy attorneys on this call today, but you wanna just maybe connect them with one. All right, so that's like really keeping their home, okay? If the goal is to sell the home, so you may get a call and they're like, I'm done, I just want to sell it. It's either going to be, I'm calling them an equity sale, traditional sale, or a short sale. So I've spoken to a lot of people that are like, short sales are not around. This market is hot. Well, yeah, they're not around because you're not in it every single day. So I give this analogy. I worked very, very hard to buy my dream car. I bought my dream car and I never saw it around in this area. Now that I'm driving in that car every single day, I see that car. So if you're in and you're dealing with distress sales every single day, they are going to come to you. They are out there. America is in debt. It is, there's a lot to come. Do I think the market's going to be like it was in 08? No, I don't think so, but there's going to be an influx. So every single area has families that are behind on their mortgage. However, you could potentially sell as an equity sale. It is still complicated. There's a whole process behind, okay, what is the payoff? Because the payoff is always going to be a lot higher than what you think it is, especially if they've waited further into the foreclosure process, okay? So really you want to determine that first. And if you get the payoff and you have all those fees and it's like 200,000, but in reality it's worth 150, you know it's going to be a short sale. So those things you have to determine up front. Back in the day when I started short sales, 100% of the time you knew it was a short sale. Now there's a little bit more due diligence for you up front. Do not just go and list the property right away to get this deal done. Do all of this due diligence up front, okay? Because a lot of times if they want to keep the property and you're motivating them to just sell, it could be a possibility that they're going behind your back and trying to do a modification or whatever, and then it's just gonna screw you in the end. So just make sure they're doing all of their due diligence up front. Does that make sense? If the goal is to keep the property, you may not be able to help. It is still a good idea to keep in touch with the seller. So most of the times the seller cannot bring the loan current, which I did say, and Chapter 13 is not always an option. So how often do I keep in touch with these people? If they're going through a loan mod or bankruptcy, I tend to do it every 2 to 3 weeks. Now, I did get a client that just got accepted into a loan modification. It was higher than the original payments, but she said that they could make those payments. And so she made the first one in October. I'm waiting a month, so I'm waiting till after they make November's payment to get in touch with them to see how they're doing, okay? So happy to answer any of those questions if you're confused about that. If the goal is to sell the home, you as a professional, again, must determine if there's equity or not, okay? Get an authorization signed by them, contact their bank, do all of it for them. Remember, they are going through a very, very difficult time. So be on the lookout because we'll probably do either a training or I'll give a free training away about listing distressed property. Okay, so executing the game plan. So come up with a follow-up plan, and I briefly talked about this for the homeowners wanting to keep their home. So hopefully everyone uses an online calendar. If you don't, I'm encouraging you to use an online calendar. So I use Google. I keep track of all of my conversations. So, well, I used to back in the day. This is what I encourage you to do. So here's my calendar. Let's see, next week, I'll show you how I keep in touch with everyone. So like this person, I'm not going to open it, but this is how you, well, I'll open it. Let's see here. So this is one of the properties. And so the way that I keep in touch with someone is I would open it up, and you want to keep their conversation all right here. So, okay, I got in touch with Lewis and Jane. This is the couple that I need to touch base with mid-November. So I don't keep track of my conversations anymore because literally I know where everyone is at in the process. My husband thinks I'm strange because I can go through all my deals and actually ramble off the loan numbers for everyone. It's really crazy. I think I'm weird somehow. It's just strange, but keep track of all that. So, okay, so October 1st, you called Jane or you texted or whatever, then maybe the next time you're going to send a letter, whatever it may be, but keep track of all of that until you then have the disease that I have, where you know what everything is going on with all of your deals, okay? So that's the first part. I do use a CRM. However, once I speak to someone, I then take them out of the CRM and put them in my Google Calendar. So just, people always ask me that. Handwritten notes go a long way. I also call, I also text, I also email. So at the beginning of your conversations, you want to find out the best form of contact for them. And so I typically will do that, but a lot of times I will just send a note to them. If they do want to sell their home and they're not ready, they're ready to go now, you know the drill, like get everything going. Obviously, if you haven't listed a short sale before, maybe I can do a live stream on that. But once listed, you want to submit the authorization to that lender. That is going to allow you to communicate with them. Very, very important. Give the bank a couple of days to get it uploaded into their system. So again, we'll have another training about listing distressed property. That's either going to be live or I'll give it away for free. If they are not ready to go just yet, and that does happen, a lot of these people are still in denial, then you want to set a future date to get things going. Always communicate. So if you've been with me for a while and you're in our member group, my 3 words are organization, consistency, and communication. That is really, really huge. So it also depends on where they're at in the foreclosure process. So if someone has called you and they don't have an auction date yet, but you want them to continue to check to see, do they have that auction? So maybe they're not ready to go right now. Fine, but when are they going to be ready to go? Schedule that. If it's a great property, you could do photos. That is actually another live stream you should do. People are like, how do you do the photos? That is like training in itself. But set a future date to get the property listed. So again, it ultimately depends on where they're at in the foreclosure process. If they're at the very end, then time is of the essence. You want to get it listed before that auction. Could you still list it when they have that auction? Yes, you can, but it is more complicated, okay? So that's executing a game plan. Again, the key factors to a successful short sale is communication, consistency. I also think organization is one. So I'm going to go back and answer some of the questions. If you have questions, you can post them in the chat. Have you ever invested in any of these deals and not listed it? Or do you just approach the leads as an agent? So back in the day when I first started, I actually was not licensed, and my husband and I were purchasing these properties through a corporation. However, that cannot be done anymore. These banks want to see the listing agreement. You have to list the properties, okay? If this is an equity sale, so who asked this question? Jesse, if it is an equity sale, then yeah, you could probably purchase it. You don't have to list it because you're not essentially dealing with the bank. Yeah, you got to order a payoff and stuff. But if it is a short sale situation, the bank is going to ask for that listing agreement, ask for the MLS sheet. So that's not really an option. I always approach these people as an agent, as an expert, as someone who can help, not an investor who's going to come and just, potentially take advantage of them or any of that. It's the listing agent. The bank as a short sale should pay you 3.5%. So I always go about it as the short sale expert, the listing agent. Not sure if this is the right webinar to ask, but how do you get the distressed owner to talk to you? So last week I gave my pre-foreclosure letter. So yeah, today we're not talking about how to get the distressed owner to talk to you. However, if you are interested, happy to talk further with you on a one-on-one, but inside of our program, I will show you how I get these deals and actually talk to them. So I'm not a huge cold caller. I'm not a huge door knocker, although we have a lady inside of our group who is doing a training on that now. I prefer the homeowner to call me. And so I've been very consistent. My auction date letters and my equity letters, we have been using for 12 years, every single week. And we have been very consistent. That guy that just called me about an hour ago came from that letter. All right, do you assist them with a loan bond? No, I already answered that. It's not weird, just repetitive nature of short sales. I know, crazy. Have you been able to find a phone that can help you? Have you been able to find a phone that can help you with your systems? If so, share what it is. I'm not sure. What do you mean by phone? I do have a system to get these short sales done. It's very task driven. So I have completed a short sale task list and I implement that. And so some tasks get assigned to me, some tasks get assigned to my team. It just really depends. And I have done some trainings in our member group on that. But if you want to clarify, I can answer that. Do you know anything about the ResNet? So ResNet is used a lot for REOs. I do not handle REOs. I have done them in the past. My expertise, my passion lies with the homeowner. I want to help the homeowner before it goes to REO because that is helping them. It's going to lead to so much more business down the road for you. A majority of my business now is referrals. Yeah, I'm still getting deals from those letters, but because I've had all these years of dealing with hundreds of homeowners, they are forever grateful for me. Now, I have done a couple of short sales on ResNet, but it's more of an REO platform. Joyce, equity sale. I use the word equity sale, but it's like a traditional sale. So for me, equity sale is, okay, it's a homeowner in a distressed situation, but they do have equity in their home. But there still could be issues with title. So it's going to be a distressed situation. Yeah, they can still sell and make some money, but there's still a lot of moving parts, okay? So that's what I mean by that. So Joyce, I do talk about the CRM inside of our group. And my CRM guy has given some pretty deep discounts. So I will get in touch with you about that. Thanks for the information. How do I contact you directly? I will post a link shortly, one that helps you with your apps to keep you organized. So great. I love being organized. Anyone in the group now, I think they realize like I love staying super organized. I have the calendar. I have my to-do list. I show you how to do. I still physically like to write and cross out my to-do list. I don't have an app per se, but I do have simple tasks that I use inside of my system to keep me organized. My system at one point allowed us to take on 70 short sales, and I was not completely overwhelmed. I was still able to go and volunteer at my kids' school and all that. So that's really, really important to me. So yeah. So where can we find your previous trainings? So let me share my screen and go here. So any previous trainings that we have will be inside of our group. So if you go to the guide section, here is our past recorded live streams. So last week, so like this week's will not get posted till next week, but usually on Friday, we'll ask you if you want the replay. But here is all of our past live streams. Last week was my pre-foreclosure letter, protect yourself, 3 darn good reasons why you should implement these, and major announcement. That is when I told everyone, hey, I'm now the VP of coaching for the CDPE. Frequently asked questions, short sale intake sheet, just a lot of them. So they're all right here. We do go live every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. We will be off the week of Thanksgiving. Obviously, I'm not going to go live on Thanksgiving. So, all right, any other questions? So if you're interested in learning more about the CDPE Blueprint Coaching Program, it does include all of our coaching as well as your CDP designation. The CDPE stands for Certified Property, or I'm sorry, geez. Oh my gosh, CDPE, Certified Distressed Property Expert, okay? So you can get that designation along with this, and so I have partnered with Tony for that. And so, but just to give you a quick overview, not everyone gets accepted into this program, okay? We do go through a phone call and then a Zoom. And so there have been some people this past week that I was like, no, it's probably not going to be a good fit. I want to know where your heart is at. I want to know where your goals are for the next year to really see if we can implement this program into your everyday business. I don't care if you're new. I don't care if you're a veteran. So if you want to learn more, or if you can see if you're a good fit, schedule a call with me. Yes, I am the one that physically calls you. Yes, I'm the one that does the Zooms with you. So happy to talk further. Otherwise, if there's not any other questions, thank you for attending our weekly live stream about a game plan for sellers. And if you do have additional questions, you could certainly message me on Facebook. You're welcome. I'll stay around for a couple more minutes just to see if anyone has questions. So I do service 7 to 9 different counties in my area. And so there's a process that I do as far as sending letters to them or the attorneys that I have relationships with. Yes, so I do not do that training inside of our weekly live streams. Inside of our member group, I do show you how to build those relationships with specific attorneys. It's not just bankruptcy, and really how to find them, what to say. I've had a really great letter that I've used. I also have this book as if you wrote it, so you would get a copy of that. That is how I built all of the relationships with my attorneys. It is a great, great tool for homeowners. It is a great, great tool for attorneys. is also a wonderful tool for community events. So all of that is inside of our program. For anyone that's in the program, I would say most people are pretty blown away by what I am offering. It is very, very unique. It is definitely nothing else out there like that, especially since I am now partnered with the CDPE. So happy to answer any of those questions, but if you would like, schedule a time to meet with me through a phone call, that would start the process. You're welcome, Mindy. You're welcome. All right, is there any final questions for anyone that's on right now? All right, I hope everyone has a blessed day. I will see you next Thursday.